Then in terms of Manchester City, the City Football Group posted a £122 million pre-tax loss for 2023-24. Could that have an impact at all on Manchester City's finances, given that they are the biggest club in that group?
Not really. I mean, I think none of it's a surprise. Really, if you look at the way the group breaks down, you've got City with the majority of the revenue, and then you've got a whole load of loss-making clubs and ventures. So they've now got this co-op music venue on the Etihad campus. So the group is right now is a heavily cash consumptive, largely loss-making group with one mega club at its sort of top. None of that's a surprise. I mean, that is the sort of the current part of their strategy. So what you've got is a big debt. So in there at the top, approaching £1 billion. Not particularly cheap money either. So they're paying around about 8.5% interest. Clearly, that's a lot of money going out every year. And then you've also had fundraisings from Silver Lake, putting equity in, and also most recently, Sheikh Mansour has also subscribed for some shares in the last 12 months. So, but they're building. If you think about sort of where's the cost going in that organisation, first of all, they've got loads of clubs. Secondly, loads of clubs that are loss-making. Thirdly, loads of infrastructure projects. So they've been part of the building of the co-op music venue, event space. They're building a £400 million development at the North Stand at City, Manchester City, and they're also trying to build a stadium in New York, and you can imagine what that costs. So they've got huge development plans within the group. It's largely, I think all planned out, and then on top of that, then I guess the one area where you might say there might be some kind of impact on Manchester City is if the spending that they're now being required to do on the field because of the underperformance of the team this season is greater than they'd expected. Maybe in that scenario, you could argue that there was some unexpected impact on the CFG because MCFC, as one of their investments and the key investment within the group, may need more capital than was expected. So maybe you could argue that that's an impact. But generally, most of the spend that's going on in the CFG is anticipated. The losses are anticipated, and it's not a short-term play to build a multi-club organisation of that type. This is a very ambitious project that's going to take a long time.
Man City invested quite heavily in their squad in the January window. They've now reportedly added Eduardo Camavinga to the list of summer targets. Could that be an expensive deal, given that he's at Real Madrid and they perhaps wouldn't want to sell him to a direct European rival?
Well, I think a lot of these deals are going to be very expensive. I don't know whether Camavinga is realistic or not, but I think he was a free transfer when he joined Real, so that might have a bearing in terms of their plans. And the other thing, of course, is similar to Mainu. If Camavinga is somebody they want to sell, he was on the bench this week, but let's say somebody they want to sell, his wages are going to be really significant. So where is he going? Who and if you do want to sell Camavinga, who in world football can afford him? Again, we go to the top Premier League teams, except we know Manchester United are probably out of that running for this window. Arsenal are probably well covered in midfield. That leaves probably Liverpool or City in the Premier League. PSG, well, I don't know, PSG look pretty okay in that position. And that's it. Maybe. Bayern, again, maybe Bayern, but, I don't know. there's a tiny market for players of that cost, tiny. So that plays into market forces. Ultimately, all of these players and all of these market prices are supply and demand. And even he's a good player, but if they want to sell him, the fee might not be what you'd expect.